Welcome to the LifeCheck podcast. I am Dr. Nicole Farmer, your business doctor, and we are here to make certain your life is in check. Look, anything and everything that has to do with entrepreneurs, we are here for it. And I'm excited because I have our first guest. Yes, our first guest, because guess what? Not only am I here to make Mondays great again, but he is here to make Mondays great again too, and every single day great again. And I am so excited to have Stephen Morrison on the show today. Hi, Stephen.
Well, hi, and I'm very happy to be here.
Well, I just want to really quick read your bio because it is fantastic. And then I want to give a little bit of how we met, and then we're going to get right into the entire show. So I'm really excited about it. So Stephen Morrison is a former psychotherapist, author, and creator of Spiritual Workout, an online therapy alternative. At $50 per month, Spiritual Workout minimum viable service consistently turns out repeated subscribers who credit the practice with making lasting, profound, meaningful impact and change in their life. Many are themselves a new paradigm entrepreneurs who benefit from getting clear about what they want and learning to believe what is possible. Morrison credits the practice with his own creating from nothing experience. We're going to talk about that. And relish reaching as many people as he can with down-to-earth practical tools that support their health, well-being, and success. Now, make certain that you go to his website, spiritualworkout.com, and follow him on all social media platforms. Stephen!
Nicole!
I am so excited. So, do you remember where we met?
I'll never forget it.
Yes.
Your version.
So, we were in San Francisco at a conference, an entrepreneur funding conference. Everybody and their mama trying to look for some money. And you walked up to me and I think asked me a question. And all I remember is spewing all of what I needed and what I felt as though I did not have in life. It was spewing out of my ears. I needed funding. I don't have this. I don't have that. Life never works. Da 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 da. And you just were like so eagerly sitting there like, yes, I got me one. What is your version?
My version is exactly that. The context a little bit. Literally, we were standing where people were grabbing their boxed lunch and leaving. It was the end of the conference.
Wow.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
It was literally the session that I saw you in was the last one. People could go get a lunch and leave. That was it. And I knew from something you said in this session that you worked with entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with entrepreneurs, and I asked you one question. I said, where do you think people get hung up the most? What's the biggest issue that you see among your clients? And you immediately said...
What did I say?
Mindset. I said.
And so that's what we're going to really talk about today is this mindset. I know that you hate for me to refer to you as the mindset coach.
I don't hate anything.
But I think I'm going to end up saying you are the mindset shifting guru.
Okay then.
So we have been...
Anything but the C word.
I know, the C word is like not it. So we have been back and forth, like together. You are personally, what I would say has really helped shift my mindset as well as my consciousness. And even we've had this conversation as well, that even for me personally, it has allowed me to have a stronger relationship with God as well as have a better understanding of my relationship with God and what the Bible says. And mind you, we don't even talk about religion in that manner. You're not necessarily even religious, yet it still allowed me to connect deeper and really understand what where my faith is, even personally. So I really appreciate just the time that you have spent with me. And so that's why I was so excited to have you on the show. You are our first guest. So new year, new guest. And so I'm really excited about it. So look, let me just jump right in. I have a good question for you.
Okay.
2020 was absolutely, for some people, hell. And, being locked in their homes, having to experience death, rapid death, multiple deaths, shifting in their businesses. I was reading in an article the other day, they literally listed probably about 50 businesses that closed. Like, why did I even need to see that? But literally, so as we're sitting in these situations, we have embarked into a new year. What can I do to reset my mind?
The number one thing that comes to mind is get clear about what you want.
Okay, but you say that. So here we go. You just say stuff just get clear with what you want. How do I get clear with what I want, Stephen? Because that's what the people are saying, and they're saying it with that kind of attitude too.
Yeah. Look, I understand that. I purposely didn't say anything after. Get clear about what you want, because everybody hears that idea in very different ways. For some people, it's incredibly inspiring and motivating. Oh, what do I want? Here are 10,000 things in alphabetical order, in great detail, right? And then the next person looks like
right.
They can't form words. They're stunned by the question. They don't even know
which way to go.
Nobody's asked me that before.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? And then there's the whole group of people who have all kinds of thoughts and ideas. I would call them beliefs about what is and isn't possible, that they have every right to have. And those beliefs over time, over generations, have, I can't say killed because it doesn't die. The desire doesn't die. But it's like it's smothered our desires. It's smothered our wants. We've reached a point where we're so uncomfortable talking in terms of what we want because of all these ideas we have about, again, what's possible, experiences we've had in the past. And so it can be a very, very fraught question, but nothing else really matters. In the work I do with anybody, I feel like I have a lot to offer. I have a specific thing, right? And yet, absent knowing what an individual, a group, a team, a company wants, I have nothing to offer. Unless I offer help with figuring out what's wanted. And that's sometimes part of my job.
And, I want to go back to something that you said when you talked about the beliefs. It's hard to get clear with what we want if we have a belief that is blocking, like cholesterol, right? Blocking our artery of our heart. In a sense, that's what beliefs are to, understanding truly what we want and then believing that we can actually have it and achieve it in its full capacity.
Yes.
So, tell us, what do you think some of the traditional beliefs that are stopping us? Like, so some of our listeners and some of our viewers, they can identify themselves, because they probably are sitting there like, well, what beliefs? I mean, what's wrong with me?
Well, sometimes we have the beliefs, but they're not quite conscious. And then somebody else will say it, and the person will be, oh yeah, I do believe that. I didn't realize I believed it until you just said it.
Right.
Yeah, I believe it. So what are some examples? I'm not good enough. I don't have enough money.
That was mine.
If I succeed, I'll lose all my friends.
Ooh.
I've never succeeded in the past. I don't have what it takes. I'm not smart enough. I don't have connections. I don't have a rich uncle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could go on and on.
Yeah. And I mean, even for me, that's what I was spewing out to you in that, in that first connection with you. I was telling you, well, I'm a Black woman. I'm not educated. I have a GED. I don't know how to do X, Y, and Z. I don't have people to help me. I don't have this. Like, all I talked about was what I didn't have. But it was through you that allowed me to understand that, once we started to dig in deep, those were the beliefs that was keeping me from understanding truly what I wanted. And
or believing that you can have what you want. That's the saddest part for me is when I see people have true desire. We all do. We're spiritual beings. It's part of how we're wired. And when I encounter people, starting with myself, and now with people I work with, especially people who didn't have a whole lot given to them growing up, it's sad in a way to hear the degree to which people have bought into the limitation.
Yeah.
I've no judgment. I get it. I lived in that place. Then I learned a few things that shifted my attention and my perspective and my whole belief system. And my whole life started to change. And now it's the work I do. So everybody has every right to the beliefs they have. The only question we ask in the work I do is, can you get to where you want to go with that belief or those beliefs? If the answer is yes, fantastic. If the answer is no, what we learn to do is keep our foot on the gas of what we want and get our damn foot off the brake when we notice that it's on the brake. Right? And the things that's going to be on the brake, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, it's not going to work, what am I doing, I don't deserve it. All that stuff. So what happens is the sad part is when people give up. They say, this is too hard. Or I'm like, go, I'm on, off, good, bad, good day, bad day, highs, lows. And they think this is the way things are. And then they just hope and wish and pray for more good days than bad days. In my world, we learn to keep our foot on the gas. And like I say, just get our foot off the brake when we notice it's on there. And then guess what? One day we wake up and we're like, wow, I haven't had my foot on the brake for 3 months.
Right. Yeah.
And now we have shifted into a whole new life where we can be, do, or have whatever we want.
Now let me go back when you talk about the brake. And you said that we can take our foot off the brake. Can you give us a few techniques or a few things that we can do like today to help us get our foot off of the brake?
Yeah, I can. Do you know where I'm going with this?
I do. I do, but they don't. But I
do. After 5 years or more of utterly, completely resisting it, I have embraced a technique called tapping. That's the nickname. It's called Emotional Freedom Technique, EFT, or plain old tapping. So I wake up one day. I was feeling great yesterday. My business, I'm getting it going, get my business plan going, getting my intentions all. And today I'm just like, where? I'm a different person. I can't feel that. So my foot is all the way on the brake. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm going to ask myself, all right, Stephen, what do you believe in right now in this moment? Whether you want to believe it or not. Well, I'm believing that it's never going to work. All right, it's never going to work. You can hear that. It's a belief.
Yeah.
It's not good, bad, right, wrong. It just is. But in this moment, I'm fully believing it. And there's no way I can get anywhere as long as I believe it's never going to work. So what do? I take that belief. It's never going to work. That's just a belief. Now I'm going to tap it out. So even though I have this belief that this business I'm so passionate about is never going to work, and we just talk about it like it's never going to work, it's never going to work. I thought it was going to work, and then as we do that, Nicole, it's not usually very long before something shifts, and all of a sudden it's not going to work. I'll be like, wait a minute. That's just old stuff. I've done so much over the last couple months getting this business going and getting everything in order. And yeah, I have some doubts and fears, and today this big one. But you know what? And I'm done.
Favorite word that I love, that one statement that you kind of left out in the tapping, I love and accept myself.
Right, so even though I have this old belief that it's never going to work, I love and accept myself completely. Nicole loves that.
I love that.
And that's part of it. And what that does, there's so much to say about tapping, and I won't. But the idea for anybody for whom this is new, is that old ideas like that just live in our subconscious. They live in our bodies. So the idea is we talk and tap, and that energy literally gets dislodged from these places. And we really do experience a shift. Sometimes something is really intense, and we bring the intensity down. Sometimes the intensity all the way down to nothing. Or sometimes it just snaps. I can't believe I was believing that 5 minutes ago. I can't even say the words now. And it's a very effective tool. I actually offer a clinic on it every week just to help people who are part of my program to really develop this skill.
I love it. I love tapping, and I look at it as getting the infection out of the body.
Nice.
So in our physical realm, we'll take a penicillin, we take whatever to get the infection out of our system. But to me, tapping allows to get the infection out of our emotions, out of our spiritual being. And it really helps. Now, give us another idea as far as how to work on getting our foot off of the brake.
Well, the main thing is I don't go fishing for trouble. I like to back to our original "What do you want?" question. I like to get super clear about what I'm wanting, and that means being able to think and talk about it as though it's happening now in present tense language. It means using only positive language. It means letting go of how it's going to happen. It means letting go of when it's going to happen. And for me, starting there gets the juices going. We start to get excited. We start to, really, ideal world? Nobody can say no. Money's no object. I can be, do, or have whatever I want. Okay. Well, okay. I've got this booming, thriving business. And now I'm thinking and talking about it. And I'm out of my head a little bit more. And I'm moving into this. And now my foot's going on the gas. Well, it's only a matter of time before my other foot's going to be on the brake. So I don't start with the brake. I really start with the foot on the gas and getting super clear about that. Because then anything that isn't aligned with that will make itself known. And so the material on the brake is actually a very good thing. We want that to happen. Because if I have buried deep inside that it'll never work, it'll never work. If it'll never work can come to the surface and I can see it and be like, oh, get out of here. Now I'm clean and I'm realigned with where I want to be. So it really is about answering that what do you want question.
In that what you want question, and it's just something that I remember as you have constantly worked with me, you worked with our team members, you really, pushed what do you really want. It's not just in general. You really want someone to narrow it down to, what do you want in your business, or what do you want in your marriage? What do you want with your children? What do you want personally? What do you want with your friends? Like, not just, oh, I want to be happy. Okay. What do you want to be happy around? What do you, what does this look like? Who do you want to be happy with? That was one major thing that I think that I learned through this process. But also, we actually put our intentions after we got super clear of what we wanted. We created that intention statement. And you have this whole entire process, which, our listeners and viewers, you can connect so that you can, go through the entire process so that you can really fine tune your intentions. But we put them up in a picture frame and put them on our desk, because it's really hard to have your foot on the brake when you're looking at what you desire and what you believe that is possible, because then your foot on the brake is an oxymoron to what you're looking at every day. And so that was something like that would be like a third tip to me that I know that worked for us, was putting those intentions right in our face so we could see those things every day.
I'm glad you brought that up, Nicole. So phase one, if you will, is the articulation. What do I want? Ideal world. Phase two, what Nicole's talking about, is about embodying this thing.
Yeah.
It's not just words on a piece of paper. That's just get us going. Then it's what do any of us, individually, collectively, if we're part of a team, what do we need to do to really inhabit this intention and have it inhabit us? So Nicole, you're saying you guys, I remember that. You print it out, there it is, you've got it. So you're repeating it.
Mm-hmm.
You're remembering. That's what we're doing. Then you sit down at your desk, you have some task to do, but you see where it fits. Maybe, hopefully, right?
Right.
And so, and then what I love to do in spiritual workout in our intention setting clinics is really listen to people's different ways that they are discovering for themselves to embody. So you guys really liked doing that. That was one thing that really helps. And all of us have different ways. I mean, there's basically we just have to repeat it over and over. We have to make sure we really believe it. We have to feel what it feels like, and we sort of act like it's happening now. When I go out sometimes in my morning and to do my big cultivation of my big, giant business beyond the one that I'm talking about. And there I'm in it and I'm imagining it. I've got all this stuff going on. I've got all these strands of it, and I'm finished. And I'm running down off my morning mountain thing to get to the office. And I'm like, oh yeah, there's no office here.
You're like, oh. So you're so into it that it's real.
So into it, and you embody it, and
you can smell the coffee brewing in the office.
Yes, and quote unquote, the universe, God, whatever source takes care of how it happens, and this is hard when it happens. So letting go of how and when is another critical, I think, skill or belief to take on and practice, because I'm an entrepreneur. I was in a whole world of nothingness. I lost everything as I was about to launch. I had no rich uncles, nobody around, and I just had to live in the space. I had urgency. I'm like, come on. I need it now. And oh my God, if I only knew how much my urgency was smothering the whole process, I wouldn't, have done it. So that's part of what we learn in my world, which is we don't get to decide how and when. And that's not so easy.
That is, and really, if you think about it, that is the reason why your foot becomes so heavy on the brake, is because
oftentimes, yes.
Not wanting to let go of how and when.
Well, right. And then what happens? It's frustrating. I'm like, oh my God, if this one thing would have connected, my life goes this way. It didn't connect, and now I'm going this way.
Right.
But I still have my desire and that intention. So is it on the wall? Where is it? Is it in me? And then I have to watch what I'm believing. If I start believing, it's not happening. Well, now it's not happening is my problem. So even though I have belief that it's not happening because it didn't happen by today, et cetera.
Right. Now,
because
you just hit on something. We were talking before we kind of hit the record button about what we speak. What we say, what we talk about. I remember, again, me spewing and screaming and hollering and crying about what I didn't have and what I need and when it needs to come and why it's not here and what's going to happen now because it's not here. And I mean, literally speaking the entire situation out, and it, I don't even know how to go, where to go from there. But I know for me personally, someone close to us had just recently passed from COVID. Mm-hmm. And I thought about you when we talk about you have what you say. And with the word of God, it's a scripture that says that you have what you say. You speak life or you speak death.
Right. And that's what.
And this guy, this person who passed, all he kept saying was, I'm scared I'm going to die of COVID. I'm scared that this is going to happen to me. And so then it happened. And that kind of it was a gut punch. Because it was just for me personally, it was God saying, do you see how powerful words are? Do you not see how your words will create your existence? And so it goes back to being clear of what you want so that you can speak those things as far as what do you want.
Exactly. And having those intentions shiny and clear. So intentions are how we answer the question, what do you want? The intentions are all about what we want. So it's exactly that, and it keeps us in that language. So if somebody came to me a year ago or in March and said, I'm scared to death of COVID, I'm scared I'm going to get it, I'm scared I'm going to die of it, I would say, okay, that's where you are, but what do you want? Do you want to die or you want to not die? Do you want to be sick? Do you want to not? Oh no, I want to be strong. I want to be healthy. Okay, then that's what you want. Fantastic. Now think only about that. Talk only about that. Act only in ways that support that.
So now let me go back. Let me go back, and I keep throwing myself under the bus because I feel like I'm the perfect example. And it was something that I felt like just kind of happened, if I would say maybe a couple of weeks ago, where I saw that I was finally at a place where I was not speaking the negativity. I was not feeling the negativity. I was not feeling the frustration, like really clear on, hey, whenever it happens, it happens. Whenever it happens, it happens. Oh, well, right? But I'm good. And I'm happy I'm good. And I'm appreciative and I'm grateful of what all that I have currently and who I am and loving me and just being good. And in that moment, I realized for like a half a second that I missed that frustrating emotion, that stirring up, that, like, I don't want to say I missed it, but I saw it vacant from me. And so I'm like, you know, that feeling that you normally have, that you just wake up with, that you go to bed with, and it wasn't there. I'm like, and it made me wonder, is that an addiction to even stirring up and having the going, you know, gas, brake, gas, brake, gas, brake, 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 brake.
Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you brought that up. I don't personally love the word or the idea addiction so much as habit.
Okay.
We get habituated. We create, what do they call them? Synapses in our mind, neural pathways in our brain. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. That creates this automatic pilot, this habit. The body's thinking it, the mind is thinking it without even any conscious attention. So that's one thing that the tapping is so good about, because it interrupts that pattern and helps to break the habit. But you're really hitting on a very exciting and different piece of this whole process, which is, do I really want what I'm saying I want? Am I ready to receive it? Am I ready to give up all of the angst and the struggle and the suffering? Do I have in me the capacity to receive that which I'm wanting? I love when I get to this point with the people I work with, because it's evidence that they've done a fair amount of work. You can't wake up one day and have the experience you just shared without having done a whole lot. So to me, that's like just evidence of somebody who's gone down a certain amount of this path, and now it's time for building the other side of the equation, the receiving part. And how do I really feel about that? What's it like? And nothing to complain about? And do I do I deserve this? I mean, some of that stuff might come up again, but it really it's a juicy part of the whole process, especially again for people like me and you who struggled a lot and knew only what the struggle was in some degree, and knew what that was, and had thoughts and ideas and practices about how to survive it. And what we're talking about here is creating a world free of it.
You know, it like right now I feel like I am like I'm on vacation. You know, like I'm on vacation and I'm laying in a blow up, you know, bed thing in the pool, and it's just like floating.
In the pool?
Yeah, you know it got me in the pool. And I'm just floating, and I got a big floppy hat on, and I'm scrolling the internet, and just
fruit drink,
right. Well, you know,
or otherwise,
it'll be right. Otherwise, right. But I'm just like mellow, like I'm real laid back and just mellow, and it's so different.
So, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just like even like I'm shocked, like you know, like.
So then the question comes, is this good? Do I want more of this? Is this good? Is this actually what I've been... And that's where you can use tapping to create new habits. I'm in a whole new place right now. I'm floating in a pool. Things are easy. Things are pretty calm right now. This is sort of what I said I wanted a couple of years ago.
I think I did. But that's the thing. It's like, did I even say I wanted this? I don't even know if this was my intention, but I like it.
Yeah. So more of this. Let's create it. But it really is an interesting dynamic where we reach that point of, now it's time for me to just let it all in.
And just be. And I think that that's where that letting go of how and when clicks in, and you're just letting it be. You know, so just kind of going back and reviewing, you know, we have to be clear in what we want, right? Which then kind of creates our intentions. And we really have to understand our beliefs, you know, of what is and is not possible, and using, you know, several different methods, the tapping method, so you can go and Google it, but also go and connect with Stephen, because his whole entire program will help connect you through each and every one of these phases, so that you can be super clear of what you really want. And you can also learn to let go of how and when. And I think that that's the part when, if I had to believe that this day would come, that day that I met you in San Francisco, I probably would have threw my pop in your face or something. Like, I'm like, you crazy. This is what's happening to me. You know, like,
you don't understand.
Right. Because when you're in that space, don't nobody understand. Nobody
except I fully understood.
Yeah, you did.
I knew
you could help.
It didn't have to stay that way.
I know. And really, you know, one thing I remember leaving that function, that conference, and we even had a discussion about how, like, what was that and what did we just spend our money on? You know, but looking back on that, that was very inexpensive to receive the peace today that I have by working with you through this time. And when I tell you, like, you know, look, listeners and viewers, when I tell you, you know, at one point I was on antidepressant medicine. I was, you know, feeling as though I was losing everything, losing my business, losing my marriage, losing, you know, just everything in my life was just, was going to just go up in flames. You know, moving out of my beautiful home that I felt as though was my dream home, like everything was just what I thought was tanking. And, you know, I will really, you know, I just thank you, Stephen, for your time and your efforts of working with me as much as you do to be able to even get to this point. Of course, no medicine, you know, clear-headed, and just able to receive what comes, and knowing that what comes is exactly what I desire. And if not what I desire, is over and beyond what I could even imagine. And it all works for my good. It all is for my good, and it works for my good. And I just appreciate that from you. That was the biggest gift, honestly. That truly a stranger that just walked up and asked me a question that then I spewed everything on, could have given me. I mean, it really has been a blessing, to have been working with you this long and to know you and to have you as the first guest of my show, of the LifeCheck show. And so you are helping us check our life completely so that we can really have exactly what we desire.
Well, I'm humbled and grateful and quite honored. Thank you very much.
So tell us a little bit more about your program, and how we can get connected. I'm also going to make certain that I have the links connected, in the podcast information I will.
All right. You just shut me up, and I'm going to go as quickly as I can. But I used to be a psychotherapist, and I quickly got very bored. No offense to any of my former clients. With work. And the reason was that I was saying the same things all the time. It didn't matter who came in, what gender they were, what age they were, what religion they were, what issue they had.
Mm-hmm.
My quote-unquote approach to working had me just saying the same thing. And I thought, well, that was a fantastic session, but 100 people should have heard that. 1,000 people should have heard that. Infinite numbers of people should hear it. So that's where I set out to create what I now call spiritual workout. I'm a former psychotherapist. There is a place, I think, where the psychology... I'm sorry, let me rephrase. The psychology can really only take us so far.
Mm-hmm.
And then that spiritual piece kicks in, for me anyway. So the idea of being a spiritual being, having a human experience, helps us to really fully work through and work out and heal from the issues of our lives. And I have a particular passion for working with entrepreneurs because I am one, and I feel like entrepreneurs are interesting, exciting, and artists. And if there's anything that spiritual workout can do, and there is, to help keep the artist and the entrepreneur aligned and feeling good, fantastic, because whatever the hell your ideas are going to be great, and I want them out there, and I want more artists and more entrepreneurs believing that they can make a living doing what they love to do.
Yes.
And so the whole thing is set up for very little money. Anyone can come in. We have 3 live classes a week. Like I said earlier, we have a tapping clinic. We have an intention setting clinic. And on Monday nights, anybody can come on and raise their hand. I never know who's going to show up. I don't know what they're going to want to talk about. But we work with these 15 concepts that are be present, be compassionate, beliefs matter, and a dozen other ones. And we just help everybody to really learn those ideas, apply them to their lives, and literally create lives free of issues and problems. And the last thing I want to say is what you started with. And I appreciate what you said about how our work deepened your own relationship with your God. And you're right, I'm personally not a religious person, but I guess I'm what's called a spiritual person. And I love nothing more than when religious people come. And this isn't a pitch or anything, it's just, but over the course of the years I've done this, if I'm talking with somebody a little more secular, so when I say, put the intention out, the universe takes care of that, I mean, that's God. So if I'm talking with you, we just say it's God. If I'm talking with my people in India, of course it's God. If I'm talking to certain other people, I might not use that word, but it's the same thing, right? So, but I just love that somebody who is religious can come in, because I always call this non-religious, religion-friendly.
Yes.
And I love nothing more than when a religious person comes in and really has a good experience in spiritual workout and then comes out and says, like what you said, because that's just, that to me is testament to the work, which really has nothing to do with me. I didn't make up these ideas. I'm the guy who said, you know what? They've been telling us to be compassionate for millennia. What if we're just compassionate? They've been telling us that what we speak, right? And Nicole, one of the most fun things about our exchanges are you bring to me the religious version of something that I say.
Yes, because I'll tell you in a minute. Oh, you're preaching. You're preaching, Stephen. I need to get that.
When you do that?
Yes, because and then I show you the scripture to what you just said. But the way that you would say it, it allows me to just dig deeper into that. It's like a paradigm shift in that particular scripture. It's like a diamond, and you're showing me the different facets of it, so I can see it just a little bit more clear for me to really receive it and really, kind of chew on that. And it's helped me personally. Yeah. It's helped me, even when I minister, it allows me to see that these scriptures aren't just in this book for us just to read, but how to actually implement them. And this is, to me personally, as far as how I look at the work that we do together, your work with me, I look at it in that manner, that it's just allowing me to have hands-on combat, if you will, of these scriptures, of using these scriptures in everyday form.
Well, and my whole thing is about bringing these ideas that we say we believe in into everyday form.
And that's what the whole point is. What are your beliefs? So if you don't believe in God, then that's your beliefs that's going to be brought into those sessions. So, if you have a very strong religious background, or, you have a very strong connection with God, then that's what your belief is that's going to come into those sessions. And that's what I love about you. You're not trying to take away or bring in something foreign. You're really using what's already inside the person, and you're allowing them to see what you already see.
It's a beautiful way to put it.
Well, look, I am so excited. We could talk on and on and on.
Did we go over?
Just a little bit, but that's okay. Because this is like, everything is just such, a wealth of knowledge. It's like just all these morsels of information that we could just mull over and over again. So, but I thank you. I'm going to have you come back.
I'll be here.
So that you can we can dive in a little bit more. But I am just so thankful for you to be on the LifeCheck podcast. Thank you so much, Stephen. And it is our grand and glorious time. We got to get up out of here. Our time is over. But until next time.
I understand.
Peace.